Her constant betrayal leads me to stipulate this uncontested divorce. Hi there, welcome to Reddit Goat channel. Today we are going to have another unbelievable cheating story. But before we get started, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our daily cheating stories. What a crazy train ride it has been. I'm 33 and currently going through a painful divorce and thought I should share my story to help process the numbness and loss I feel and evaluate how this train wreck occurred. My wife and I were co-workers for a time 9 years ago. From the time we met, we were extremely attracted to each other, sparks flew and we hit it off immediately. I dated around a good amount in my younger 20s, but there was something different with her that made me feel safe and happy. After several years of dating and living with each other, we decided to get married. I remember even at the time I proposed it didn't feel right. We had an open relationship mostly because she wanted that lifestyle and unfortunately went along for that ride. Never marry in a polyamorous relationship. Things definitely started shifting right after our marriage. With our open marriage, we set the boundary, we'd only have fun with mutual friends and talk about agreements beforehand. Right before we bought our home, my wife admitted she spent a night with her ex-boyfriend and also later revealed there was no protection. I was devastated. That's where all the trust evaporated overnight, and even though I still loved her, I didn't feel respected anymore. I decided to put the house solely in my name. We bought the home when we were married, but this comes into play later in our divorce proceeding. I continued to progress in my career and being the breadwinner and thought my wife was happy. Slowly but surely the bedroom fun started to feel like a chore and could tell she was checking out. I should also mention my wife had a very high body count of men previous to our relationship. 2 years ago, right after the pandemic started, she pulled the rug from under me and let me know she wanted to break away from me and she wasn't afraid to provide for herself. She hired a spiritual coach and thought she could replicate that same amount of success right away. Fast forward to today, she is still struggling to launch her coaching business. Yay, being independent isn't so easy, right hun? Also doesn't feel very good with all the emasculating and treating me like garbage as I continued to financially support her. She deployed a lot of emotional manipulation to have me still provide and pay for her lifestyle. She convinced me to sleep in separate bedrooms. I did it to give her the space she said she needed. I really should have kicked her out of the house at that point. About a year ago she reconnected with that ex-boyfriend she had the affair with. To add on to the misery I was already feeling, she decided to commit to a relationship with him even with us still married. Looking back, I feel completely disgusted with myself for not standing up for myself back then and continuing to allow it. She would often offer me affection and intimacy here and there to keep me ignorant of any of my dignity or self-respect, so I played along to earn any form of closeness with her. I was completely addicted and made her my world. The turning point was last spring after I took her to Hawaii for a week. It was my ultimate Hail Mary to win her back. We even did a couple's photo shoot professionally and had a really great time together. However, I could tell she was still invested in her AP. Not even a day after we got back from the trip she said she missed her AP. Again, I felt absolutely devastated that she would so easily cast away the time and energy we had just spent together. This is where I started to finally regain my dignity. I decided to play up to my image and try to walk away as unscathed as I could and divorce her. Not surprisingly, she and the boyfriend decided to move in together last summer. This is when I brought up to my wife I wanted an uncontested divorce. She was ripe with feelings for her AP, so when I wrote out the stipulation I'd receive the full equity on the house, my bank accounts, and retirement accounts, she agreed. I gave her a week to decide after another weekend of vacationing with her AP, and she signed the stipulation in front of a notary and I filed it the same day. She ended up going out to the bar that night with her AP, getting dolled up and spending another intimate encounter with him, I guess in celebration. Yay, I surely felt like a valued husband. 3 weeks after, my wife wasn't able to get housing with her AP as originally planned. Now understanding her predicament, she filed a motion with the court to dismiss our stipulation and go to mediation. Go figure. I then lawyered up and we had several hearings with the courts. My wife never hired an attorney. I believe she thought her spiritual leanings told her she didn't need any of that. Well, it turns out she lost her case and tried filing an erroneous second motion with her newly hired attorneys and lost that too a few weeks ago. Now she's filed an objection to be heard by the judge. My lawyers are very confident the objection will also be denied and the final divorce paper can then be signed. I've racked up $10,000 of legal fees, but my wife also has a lot of fees too and may even be able to ask for my fees to be paid if I win, but I will most likely elect to pay my own anyway. Also, I should add, in the second motion she filed with her attorneys, she made up lies about me coercing and lying to her. Things like I told her to not hire a lawyer because it was too expensive, the commissioner saw right through that BS and denied her and hoped the judge does too. When my lawyer read through that motion with me, he said there is no chance at reconciliation. Yes, I agree, sir. Writing this all out, it seems almost too absurd to be true. I'm trying to survive the present the best I can, staying focused in my career and trying to enjoy playing piano and my other hobbies to not think about this. It doesn't help that my wife gives me glimpses of wanting me back, but the past is just too painful for reconciliation. I know I can find another partner that loves me and respects me, but for the present moment I feel paralyzed and heartbroken over this journey. Ultimately, I just want to move on with my life, and maybe I'll laugh at it all looking back one day. The universe has an interesting way of unfolding. Hope that karma works as designed. Here are some of the best comments from our community. Yes. You will find someone who loves you once this is done. She is a manipulator. Once she loses in front of the judge and the reality of what happens sinks, and she will try to manipulate you again. Stay strong and go after her to pay your fees. Shooting $10,000 for the hurt she has caused you is nothing. Stay strong and remember. You took her to Hawaii and less than one day back she yearns for her AP. Tell her the spirits to say she will get hers in the near future. ! Best. Don't kick yourself. Love can be like an addiction in itself. Your marriage was a classic heart versus head conflict. To your credit, I think your head was firing off warning flares right and left. You knew what she was like when you proposed, but I think you might have had some hope that being married would offer her such materialistic stability that it would overcome her desire for other men. Your heart said maybe I can nice her into being the wife that I desire, but I think your head was realistic about the chances of that actually happening all along. As I've said many times, and hey, you seem to agree, there are open relationships out there that work, under certain agreed-up conditions up front. Boundaries, and partners, must be established and respected, or wars are just a waste of time. This is why so many of them fail. I think you know that based on what you write here, so I won't lecture. She just isn't the right person to be married to. I congratulate you on navigating an exit strategy that doesn't appear too devastating financially. It could have been worse. Just be wary of her manipulation going forward. She hasn't changed, but she does know what you want to hear and will certainly try to use it against you to get back together for round 2. Don't fall for it. Be kind to yourself. You are not the first victim of codependence, and you won't be the last. Be strong, make great decisions. Be your own best friend going forward. You let this get far too long due to serious codependency issues. Clearly, the relationship hasn't been healthy for a very long time, and you sacrificed your principles to make her happy. Please get into therapy to work through the long-term damage she did. Read Codependent No More and figure out some ways you can remove your deep codependency, and please stop talking to her, allowing any emotional in to move you at all. There is zero need to have any contact with her at this point except through your lawyer. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.